Guns, and the security they carry with them, mark our starting point. This is because mainstream gun rights discourse is an illuminating example of the kinds of political engagement that had ascended within conservative circles by 2020. It is also because guns themselves serve as powerful linchpins, linking up everyday action, political beliefs, and historical narratives. As Jonathan Obert and Elias Schultz observe in their analysis of militia activists, guns are tangible artifacts that uniquely align existing social practices within an important historical tradition, enhance agency, and provide interpretive finality. Not every gun carrier is a militia activist, very far from it, but every gun carries symbolic, material, and political potential, embedded not only in its owner's intentions, but in the broader social constellation that makes guns appealing, even urgent to their owners. Part of the social constellation that makes guns appealing and urgent is their significance as vehicles of safety and security. Guns have increasingly taken on this role in the minds of Americans and in the structure of our collective security apparatuses. Over the past 20 years, Americans have increasingly come to see guns as making their homes and their streets safer. A striking reversal that signals a deep shift in the social place of guns in American society. Over that same period, American society has reaped the grim harvest of emaciated social bonds and a fallow government hollowed out by neoliberal defunding of education, welfare, mental health care, and other social safety nets. The availability of guns combined with their felt necessity amid social precarity has fostered a culture of armed individualism. People in the United States, seeing themselves as the only ones ultimately responsible for their own safety, have turned the vice of neoliberal disinvestment into the virtue of gun rights as an everyday ethic of civic engagement. Overwhelmingly, protection has become the primary reason for gun ownership in the United States. As of 2021, some 21.5 million plus Americans have concealed carry licenses, and over 3/4 of Americans agree that handguns, the preferred self-defense gun, should not be banned. Those caught in the crossfires of neoliberalism's fallout have caught on to the appeal of guns as a means to address felt insecurities ranging from violent crime to socioeconomic precarity, to the declining social status of white, heterosexual men amid real, if ultimately underwhelming and now eroding, gains of women, racial minorities, and sexual minorities since the 1960s. Armed individualism captures a long-standing gun-centric sensibility within the gun-rich U.S. context, one that has roots in settler colonialism and chattel slavery, but has been updated throughout American history to cast the armed individual as a key protagonist of safety, security, and sovereignty. Not merely an ideological discourse to believe in, armed individualism comprises a practical politics to enact in daily life. And if guns were already a central way to do something about elements of life's insecurities that are ultimately out of our control, whether seemingly random instances of criminal victimization or the bewildering threat of economic, political, and social breakdown, then the multi-layered crises of 2020 put that impulse into overdrive. As early as March 2020, politicians, pundits, and public health officials climbed aboard a jolting ride of lockdowns and shutdowns on the one hand, and inaction and equivocation on the other in their response to coronavirus. By June 2020, yet another series of brutal killings of Black people by private civilians and police sparked a summer of protests, pressing for racial justice.